Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Pownal Select Board meeting, June 12th, 2025 at 6:09 p.m. First, I'd like to apologize for being 10 minutes late when our last sewer commission meeting went over. Call the meeting to order at 6:10. Board member roll call. Carl Strohmeyer.
Jeannie Alexander.
Mike Gardner.
Jamie Percy.
Brian Harris. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. So easy.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah.
I heard it hit the wall.
Approval of agenda, public comment, approval of minutes, warrants, correspondence, updates from town officials, tobacco and second-class license applications and/or excess weight permits, local emergency management plan, discussion and possible action, discussion with the town forest warden, transfer station continued discussion and possible action, health officer discussion and possible action, employee evaluation review schedule discussion, purchase policy and town attorney policy review discussion, special meeting scheduling discussion, office chair purchase discussion and possible action, Oak Hill Cemetery discussion and possible action, proposed executive session, contractual, public comment, and adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any public comment, Hannah?
No hands are up.
Approval of minutes of May 22nd, 2025 select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Warrants, accounts payable, May 25th, or May 30th, sorry. $125,142.62.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable, June 6th, $100,484.88.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable, June 13th, $41,704.83.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, May 30th, $11,572.89.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, June 6th, $13,012.11.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Payroll, June 13th, $11,716.40.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Updates from town officials, or correspondence, sorry.
I just have one from Brian. It's hello, I respectfully regret that I am stepping down from the Parks and Recreation Department effective immediately. I feel that I cannot give the time necessary to this wonderful department, and that by taking up a position that I cannot fulfill, I make it more difficult to make a quorum. I am always willing to help in other ways, so please accept this resignation. Brian Harris.
Pleasure.
Regretfully, accept Brian's resignation.
I second that.
Any discussion? Sorry to see you going, huh, Brian?
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
But it's just, I understand.
Leaving that position.
Yeah, I understand. We have a motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I
abstain.
One thing that I should have mentioned when we got going on this is all of these agenda items, because there's quite a bit on here tonight. I'd like to stay on task, right to the point, get things through. We've been here since 4:45, waiting for a 5 o'clock tonight, so for the other things, so I just like to make sure we stay on task and move forward on each item. Updates from town officials.
We don't have any unless you have something as zoning.
Zoning, there's been a lot of questions a lot of, people reaching out with questions about property in town. I had one today, about a property, just, there's a lot of questions, not a lot of permitting going on for whatever reason. But there is a lot of, interest on some properties in the town right now. Health officer, because I'm the acting health officer, I did a home inspection, dwelling inspection on the 30th of May. And the Board of Health meeting tonight, you can tune into that, but the Board of Health is, gonna issue a health order after, having their attorney review that decision. And that's pretty much it. Tobacco and/or second-class license applications and/or excess weight permits.
Do we have any excess weight permits?
If anything, right?
Moving right along.
Local emergency management plan discussion and possible action. We have Craig Odell here tonight. He's our emergency plan coordinator. So you wanna come up, Craig? You wanna stay back there? That's fine.
All right, just talk loud.
Good. All right, Craig, it's all you.
I just need approval for it.
Do you want there's a couple changes in there, right? Mostly in just personnel, right?
Right,
Personnel in different positions, Zach?
that's correct.
That's the only changes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure.
We got it nice and updated now, so we have an editable form.
Yep.
That was a pain.
I do have a question or two about this.
Sure.
Yeah, hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, chapter 6, it's been a long day. Page 6, I just have a question about like the spontaneous sheltering. Like the primary local shelter and then the alternative local shelter. And I noticed the services are a warming center, cooling center, food prep, and then warming center, cooling center. What is the trigger for that? Like what triggers when we deem it's appropriate to open either a warming or a cooling shelter?
Well, we've never opened a cooling shelter, but the warming shelter has been open because of power loss
Okay,
for a significant amount of time. So we've opened the center fire station to allow people to come in and warm up until power's been turned back on. It's never been
yeah.
an extended period of time, only a few hours. And it was mostly I think people that lived in the Cozy Meadow Trailer Park, they lost power for a few hours.
So if they lost power for an extended time, so for example, like I lost power once for 4 days, thankfully it was in the summer. And so that wasn't like an issue and I've got a generator, but say during the winter, if something happened, God forbid, and we lost power or certain neighborhoods did, or longer than that, would we be able to operate that as an overnight shelter if need be?
Which, yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody have anything else for the emergency plan?
One question. I saw that you had Alta Gardens or
Pownal State.
Pownal Estates, and Green Mountain.
Right.
Is that just because where they are at?
Yeah, because they're in the floodplain.
Because they're in a floodplain? That's just my question.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to approve the LEMP as presented.
So move.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion with the forest fire warden. That's you again, Craig. But the good news is we didn't put you like there and then way down the bottom, you're right there back to back. I know, you're right there back to back, so, yep. I think it was just a few questions, right, and then some different things, so. Go ahead. With questions or whatever, you wanna do a presentation, you good, just answer questions, what else? Okay,
Answer questions.
yep, okay, fine, perfect.
So, okay, I have questions. So, obviously, like, we got lots of nice smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and that's typical for us. And then I will say, this word generated, I became very interested in this, I'm interested anyway, but like last fall in Great Barrington, as that fire spread so quickly. I remember I went to bed one night and it was like almost 300 acres, and like it's gonna move slow, and the next morning it had really spread, same way. So I'm curious, like, what is our procedure? Like, how do we respond in case of wildfires on this? Like, what is the, yeah, I just don't understand. What do we do as a community? What does the fire department and emergency services do? How is that dealt with?
We have mutual aid agreements with other departments and alarm assignments that will bring in mutual aid departments, and additional resources are available through the state and through the national forest. We need them.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been fire warden for 25 years. I don't think we've ever had anything larger than maybe 20 acres burned in Pownal.
Right. Which I hope it stays that way, but I do think it seems that wildfires are increasing and growing, so.
Yep.
Okay, so along with sort of thinking about that, another thing that came up last, I guess it was late last fall, because we seem to have more of those red flag days. Before I was on the select board, came here, we had a discussion one night about the possibility of during those days, when we had those red flag warnings, they're basically instructing people, please don't burn, like outside. A simple system of sort of communicating to that, because I might get notifications on my phone, but that's not fair, I think, to assume everyone does. And so one of the possibilities that we came up with at the time was to literally have a flagpole with a red flag that we could raise in town, certain locations, which we have not determined. And they go up during that sort of red flag season. So people know it's an easy way to communicate, don't burn outside right now, it's dangerous. So do you think that our fire services would be comfortable with that, would help us figure out where to put those? And like, do we need 2? Would it be nice to have 3? Because I've been asked for those also by residents, like, could we do something like this?
I think it's unusual. I mean, granted, we do have red flag conditions at times.
Yeah.
More commonly than we ever have. Last fall was very unusual. We usually don't have such a extended period of dry weather where we're into a red flag condition for numerous days.
Right.
You know, we use social media to get it out there, and there's a state website that anybody can go on, Forest Parks and Recreation, and see the conditions for each day. We get emails every day on what the conditions for the day is and whether we're going to issue permits for that day. In the past, we've never had, you know, any other type of warning system. So,
Right.
you know, if the town wants to invest in flags to be put up, I don't think it's a problem. I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't know until I get to work in the morning whether it's gonna be a red flag day, because it's usually around 8 o'clock, so I'm not going back to Pownal to put a flag out, so I can, you know.
I think we can figure that part out.
You know.
I mean, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, can you open up the red flag? I think we can figure that part out. And I agree, and I do appreciate.
Well, you know, I mean, if you drive through New England, there's a lot of towns.
Show that to Jeannie, and is that something like what she was thinking?
I mean,
They haven't signed it.
we could do that,
This
or even
day.
if we wanted to make it even easier, so people are like, wait, what does that color mean? Even if we just literally, you know, why like a red flag? Because I
don't know if people are gonna know that's what it is.
think if we do
They're
some kind of,
gonna drive by Pownal Center Station, there's a red flag hanging, and they're not gonna
that's right.
associate, are they gonna associate that with a red flag warning for the day?
Right.
Yeah.
Or,
I think that's
Not
public
unless we
education.
educate.
I think that's a matter of public education. We post the heck out of everything here. And I mean, it's great that it is online and I love it, but I just think that you have to look for that. And I am so glad that that's never been an issue before. I'm concerned about the person who isn't paying any attention to that, isn't looking for it, and decides it's a good day to set a bonfire in my backyard. And then we have a bigger problem.
yeah, I mean, there's other places that do different warning systems. You go through New Hampshire, they have, you know, little Smokey the Bear standing on the side of the road with a holding a sign that says high fire danger or low fire danger.
That's cute. I'm fine with smoking.
I'm just,
Yeah.
you know, are we only gonna put the flag up for red flag days, or are we gonna put it up, what if there's a high fire danger, we decide we're not gonna burn? there's times where the wardens in town decide that it's not gonna be a day to be able to burn, even though the state has a high fire danger. I mean, we may have not had rain for extended period of time where Bennington or Shasbury has had showers or storms go through.
Great, so then that'd be a great way to communicate that to people.
I think, so, I think there's a couple of pretty valid points here, right? One point is, we've never been in the situation like Great Barrington or other towns were last fall. But I also think that we can agree that our weather pattern has changed drastically over the last however many years. And I'm not gonna debate why it's changed or whatever, right? Because that's a debate we don't need to have. I think there's a couple of things, right? I think having some sort of a notification system other than social media is probably beneficial, even if we stopped one wildfire. Every firehouse and the rescue squad building and stuff all have a flagpole. Right, every one of them. And I think we could probably find flags where we send a red flag up that says in bold print, high fire danger, whatever. I'm sure they're manufactured, out there somewhere. So each firehouse sends the flag, and the rescue squad building, right? We use our emergency services buildings as the point of information because they're already there. We could use the town office as one as well. Not a lot of people are gonna see it, but whatever.
But the stations are.
So if the town were to purchase some flags, what is it, red, yellow, orange? I don't remember the color, Craig.
I'm happy to
It's been a
research.
while.
Yeah,
I'm happy to research for that.
Yeah,
Red, green.
I think there's red, green, and yellow, right? Yeah, almost like a stop sign. If the town were to look into that and purchase those flags, I think it would be feasible to have those put up on the buildings and at least a little more.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's pretty unfortunate is we do have more and more of our land in town is now national forest, Green Mountain Forest and whatever. And we all know that no matter how you want to look at this, lack of cutting in those forests is what causes a lot of those big burns, right? Most of the burns we have around here down lower, I got
Because you got trash in the woods.
well, I got a lot of years of service just like Craig, okay, and most of those are ground clutter fires, okay, that's what we call them, right? That's what they are.
Right.
But when you get into the national forest area where the trees and you got a lot of debris on the ground and dead trees and all kinds of stuff, that's a different story. So I think if we were to look into it and purchase the flags, one for each of those buildings, I mean, it's not gonna hurt to be able to put those up, right?
I think I would only go with the red flag. I mean, that's.
I
Yeah,
agree with you.
that-
Let's keep it simple.
I don't think we're gonna be running flags up and down. I mean, so in the spring and then fall, you may have medium day and the next day's a high day and the next day's a low day.
The only thing we really need to,
That's why we're having a discussion, right? That's, it's a great point.
the only thing we really need to, is to tell people not to burn.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's a great point. And maybe there's flags out there that say, maybe there's flags out there that so that we could be more educational.
Yeah.
The red flag and maybe a flag underneath it, high burn danger or
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Happy to do that.
So something along those lines,
No,
And I'm not opposed to bonfires. I want to be very clear. I can build a mean bonfire. Fireman's daughter. Fire's cool, but I just also one of them. Okay.
Actually, fire's hot.
just a matter of educating the public, that's why.
And I think we could do that, right? So your social media, you know, you guys have a lot of followers, the town social media.
Yeah.
Between you and Pownal Valley and the rescue squad, and I'm sure Becky would be involved there without any trouble. You know, we could send a flyer out through the school system, you know, whatever. Obviously, we're a little late for this school year, but we could certainly go out back in August. And go from there. Entertain a motion to look into and purchase flags, red flags, and maybe an identifier why that flag is up there.
I hope so move.
For, each, no, I just wanna make sure we do it right, for each of our 4 fire stations in the rescue squad building.
So moved.
Would you like to take it from the EMC line? Okay, we have 300 in there. We can use, and then we'll just get the, we'll get,
Are you set on flags or are you open to looking at signage?
Oh,
Like what I was just showing you?
yeah.
I thought the flags would be our cheapest way out, Brian, that's all.
Okay, no,
Right, we just send the flag up a flagpole, and there it is, a signage, we would have to build some sort of a thing to hold the sign in place.
well, that's true, the installation aspect of it. I wasn't thinking.
I think that's better.
I gotta go. My mother's not feeling well.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Carl.
Look,
I just think the flags are our least expensive way that would be. The other thing with a signage out on the street, you gotta go out and put the red sign on, I guess it's no different than putting the flag up. The installation would be.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fire departments did have the marquees out front. We used to have them, but.
Right.
The local kids like them.
Yeah, that's right. Signage locally now on the ground like that, they can't climb the flag, it's like some.
fair point.
So I have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I seconded it.
I thought so, just making sure, I lost track. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anything else for discussion, Craig? I think you guys are set up with your side-by-sides now.
They worked well.
Good.
Yes.
So, for the forest fire stuff, so. Perfect, transfer station, thanks, Craig,
thank you.
appreciate it.
I'll, send that to you after I get assigned.
Okay. All right, Tom, that's you.
That's me.
We're gonna stay to the point, concise, and move right on through here.
I was gonna make a comment when we started talking about side by sides, I was gonna say.
Well, I wasn't talking about rescue, I was talking about, are they set up and ready to go? I know where you were going.
I'm just thinking.
I know, I knew where I was going. I can get sidetracked with the best of them.
They were key in the rescue the other night, so.
All right, transfer station. So these are topics that we need to discuss tonight, and decide. Traffic pattern, arrows, signage, etc. I think we decided we're keeping the same traffic pattern.
We do.
We just gotta come up with some signage and some arrows and that kind of stuff.
I had it in my notes to bring back, so I wasn't sure why, so I brought it back.
We were gonna see if we could get somebody to paint lines on the blacktop,
Yep.
and I don't think anybody ever did that, so I didn't, so.
Can we borrow a line painter from Bennington?
I think Bennington has one, I can. Send me a message tomorrow, please.
Okay.
I just forget.
I
I shouldn't forget now, my days are way easier than they have in the last 3 weeks, so.
Well, Mike, why don't we run it for a couple of weeks to see how it goes, and then if we need to alter things around a little bit, we could do that.
Yeah, I think we need to,
So we need to get, going, and then we'll see what happens there.
right,
I
so.
talked with Joel about that this morning. Yeah.
Well, Joel doesn't decide that either, we do. But that's fine. So we need to figure out our traffic pattern, and that's gonna happen next week.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is, when will we begin using the compactors? I have completed, as Tom has, the tag out lockout system. I think we can have, Joe, right, isn't that the guy from Casella that is gonna train us on the usage of them?
Well, we know how to use them, but the automatic is not working yet. However,
do you mean? It's not working?
the automatics, when you put on automatic, it goes out and automatically comes back. It's not working correctly on either one of them. However,
So have we contacted the company and talked to them about it?
well, Joel was taking care of it, and then we turned it over to the guys from Casella's that come down, and they were waiting.
So we haven't contacted the people that we bought it from and asked,
Yes.
said to them, we have?
Yes,
And what did they say?
but Joel's the one that
It's
contacted.
still under warranty.
Yeah. But Joel contacted them and, you know, I think what we need to do is actually talk to the manufacturer in Philadelphia.
We need to talk to the company that we bought it from, that we paid for.
Right.
And they have a warranty on them. We don't need to talk to the manufacturer. We need to talk to the company we bought it from that has a warranty through them. How long have we known that the automatic part doesn't work? Frustration level very high, coming down. Okay. Are the compactors usable right now?
Yes, they are.
But they're not usable automatic.
Automatically, but manually works just fine.
So have we contacted Joe McGuire? I think that's his name.
Yes, we have.
From Casella to come down and run us through the compactors.
No, he sent these two gentlemen down from Rutland, and they were going over it, and they were trying to set the things up. And they showed us all the things, but they just can't get the automatic working properly.
And that's what you discovered, right, that it wasn't working, is that you were going through the process to set them up. And
Yes.
that's how we heard about it.
Right.
Okay.
But
Cause this is the first I've heard of it, of the automatic not working.
right, but the manual works fine. So I mean, I can stand there and run them and then just run it back and it's not a problem.
Okay.
It takes 2 minutes, basically to cycle it. It's a minute out, about 40 seconds back, and then you gotta go close the doors or open the doors back up because you have to close them first.
Okay. So this is what I would like to do as far as putting the compactors into operation. And I'll talk with Joel in the morning and see where we're at with Casella and that part of it. I would like to start using the compactors next week on Wednesday, our first day open. I would like to have 2 select board members there during operation from 8 to 4. 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. I know that's hard for you guys that work and whatever. I'm available next week to be there. I'm gonna assume that Carl's gonna be available for a couple days or whatever, I don't know. But I think Tom needs some manpower help while he's there. I don't think we can expect him to be running the compactors by himself and traffic flow and taking money and all of that stuff. So, not that I want to be there every day, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but what's everybody's availability?
I am available I can make myself available on Wednesday.
Okay,
I'll have to do Saturday, because I already got stuff going on.
so,
I am out of town next weekend.
okay, so Wednesday, looks like Mike and Jeannie. Jamie, you can be there on Saturday?
Yep.
I can ask Carl if he can do Saturday with.
I'll be there on Friday as well. We can ask Carl if he can do Saturday with Jamie. I'm working Wednesday, Friday, and rather not be there Saturday too, north this time, but 2 days of the month, no, I'm kidding.
You're gonna do Friday too?
I can do Friday as well, yeah, yeah. Be Wednesday and Friday next week. Yeah, I can do Saturday if I have to, but I'd rather have one day a little bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you a bit. Oh,
Okay.
So, and I will we'll both follow up with Joel on the compactor.
Yeah.
Contacting the company and all of
Yeah.
that.
Okay. That's fine, you and I.
Yeah.
And that was question 3, who's working with town and Wayne, right, on your topics?
Well,
Or was it more expensive?
that's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the next one kind of goes into the amount of hours and
Yep.
such that are being charged to the transfer station right now.
Yep.
because of course the concern is we wanna save money. But right now, I think we're gonna be way over budget in your wage line. If
On the
we
what?
continue-
Wages?
The wages, because
Well, Ron's not working.
I know, but the guy that is working is making more hourly per hour, and you're
Okay.
claiming more hours.
Well, I can't help it. I mean, I've got, right now, I've got to get all the permits ready and so forth. I just picked up the permit cards and all the posters and so forth today. And I've got to get those out and get those up. And I've got to, then get the cards all lined up. And that's got to be done on a day when I'm not working, because that takes, hours to get everything set up.
The concern, just so you know, when you work over that 30 hours and you start getting into 36, 37 on a regular basis, we have to give you different benefits. Like it makes a completely different job almost. It makes it a full-time job. And we definitely do not have a budget.
No, but I mean, when this comes in, if I'm just working there by myself, I'll have to come in for 4 hours on a Thursday or something to do the compacting and one of the other things, take care of the stuff inside I can't take care of, like
Yep.
the fluorescence and all this stuff, take those things out. We're still gonna be getting tires off the roads and stuff. And we got the tires pulled out last week. And then, of course, that day I had to help with the backhoe because they were all down in that hole. They couldn't throw them up in the truck from there. So I was in there, we load them on. I mean,
I understand all that.
Yeah, well-
You understand from my
Here's
perspective.
what has to happen, plain and simple. We have to cut the hours back that are going on at the transfer station because we're gonna be way over budget at this point, at this thing. So what that's gonna mean, seriously, in all seriousness, Tom, and I'm not being difficult here. That means when no one is there at the driving in to dump their garbage off, Wednesdays especially are not a busy day. Historically, they're not a busy day. Saturday, I don't think we can expect you to do a whole bunch of stuff other than take money and run the compact. Wednesdays and Fridays, I don't think sitting in the office waiting for somebody to come, there's other things that you can be out doing around the transfer station. And I think that's what has to happen. You can't be sitting there in the office waiting for somebody. When somebody shows up, and you can't be down at the other end either, okay?
let's go bring that up.
Right, so let's be realistic, you can't be down at the tipping shed.
Right.
And then expect, look, we're all older now, we're not gonna jog up, and I'm not gonna buy a four-wheeler to ride back and forth.
Mhm.
Right?
A golf cart?
Yeah, there you go, right, maybe we can find a cheap.
They're cheaper.
Right, so, you can be packing up fluorescent lights while you're waiting for a customer to come in and pay. You have 25, 30 customers on a Wednesday. Give or take, right? Maybe 50
50, yeah.
at the max.
40s to 50 usually.
Yeah.
And
So
Fridays can be the same thing. You just.
I'm sure Fridays are hit and miss, right?
Right, yeah, Fridays are usually our slowest day.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's other things that can be done while you're waiting for a customer. And I'm not saying in the wintertime when it's bitter cold and raining and sleeting and whatever else, that's a different thing, right?
Right.
But during the summer months,
Like there's 2 over there right now.
right, plus we have 2 employees right now, and we're gonna take one away. We have to take
Oh,
one
yeah.
away to
I understand that.
get all of this stuff
But I
done.
want to give Paul a lot of credit. He did all that grading,
So,
extended that whole, graded that, and when we had all the rain on Saturday, we put a pipe in, a month or so ago, behind the swap shop. And it took a while for the water to get down around there, and all of a sudden we see all this water coming out of the grass, and it's nice and gentle, and it's going down, and we didn't have nearly the erosion that we've had, and nothing's coming down the road between the tipping shed and the compactors and stuff. It's kind of all mostly going back.
okay, back on topic. So I believe, and correct me if I'm misspeak here, but I believe that our goal is to have one transfer station employee once these compactors are up and running. My guess is that there's gonna be a learning curve here for a couple of weeks. It shouldn't be much longer than that. The general public should be educated within a couple of weeks. My guess is the people that come in next Wednesday are probably gonna come in the following Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays from there if they come every 2 weeks. Same thing on Friday. I think Saturdays, I think someone needs to be there for a couple Saturdays in a row. Somebody's on vacation this week or what, or this, not this week, but the following, next week, you know, they'll be in the following week. So I think what I would suggest is Wednesday, Friday, Saturday of next week, which is the 18th,
20th and 21st.
18th, 20th, and 21st, right? I didn't want to get to my
I have it written
calendar.
down.
Yeah, I was trying to do my, look down here.
Yeah.
So, and then I think the following Saturday on the 28th, I think there should be 2 select board members there on the 28th helping educate people on what's going on. And I think that's a 4-day window that I think we would cover most everybody. Is that,
Yeah,
do you agree with that, Tom?
Oh, yeah, I've been talking to the people, telling them how things are going.
Right.
You know, everybody's curious, so
Right.
we try to explain things, you know, as well as we can.
Okay. So that's, and then,
I have a question,
sure.
sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
And I like this idea, and I like select board members being down there, because I still kind of have a lingering question in my mind as to whether or not it is a one-person job. And I'm totally hearing you about like time and about salaries and our budget. I get that, and I'm like really sensitive to it. But I also want to figure out, and I'm glad we're all gonna have the opportunity to be down there, if it's reasonable to say to you, Tom, it all has to get done, you have to do it, right? And I'm just wondering if we don't need a
Well,
second person.
That's why I said our goal
Right.
is to get down to 1 person. Maybe that's an unachievable goal.
Yeah,
Maybe it is, and it may very well be, but your point is great. We're gonna be there. We're the ones that make the decision if there's 1 employee or 2 employees. And right now, we're sitting here from a budgetary standpoint saying it's a 1 employee job. But in the real world, is it? And we don't know that because we're not there. And I agree. I think the best thing is for us to be there and figure it out. And I think it's the best thing for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can make an educated decision rather than just an arbitrary decision.
Right.
Okay, now, my question to you, we're putting all 3 of the, construction dumpsters inside, correct?
I will leave the metal one up.
Yeah, I'm leaving the metal one out, right?
We're gonna leave the metal one that's right there.
Yep.
All right, so what's gonna happen is, when you start these up, I'm gonna get 2 of them pulled. We're gonna have to get the commingle and the cardboard gone.
Hmm.
And then we're down to what we need. I'll still have the 2 extras. I'm gonna keep the extra and either the first one or the second one, because we have covers over them. Because if one of the machines goes down, we're certainly gonna have to have, you know, a viable option, you know, to work things. So, yeah, if one of them goes down, then we have something there to go to, you know. And,
No, that's an operational procedure that we.
yeah, but I'm just saying that this is
No, that's a good idea.
what we need to figure out, you know, today.
And we can certainly talk, well, we can talk about that this week or next week while we're there. Once we as board members see what's going on, I think we can certainly have that discussion with you while we're there
Well,
and see the operation, how it actually works, Tom.
I think that looking at the cardboard this morning and the commingle, that we can make it until next week.
Okay.
And then we'll just start.
Yeah, because you only have 2 days. You have Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday. I said we should be able to make it.
Okay.
And then we'll just open the thing up, you know, first thing Wednesday morning. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And then we'll just have those 2 taken and then just take the dumpsters right out.
Okay.
You know, and we'll move the other ones around, or if they want to just take the other ones out, but they're gonna have to take them, pull around, so
Okay.
it'll take them out.
I forgot to put something on
All
our
right.
list of discussion items for transfer station. There was a need for railings on the compactor.
Oh, yeah, geez.
We got 1 quote from JD Steel. Tom knew another, company, they came and instead of doing an estimate, they
They built 'em.
installed the railings and that,
They didn't install them, but they built
they're not on the
them.
compact.
No,
But we still have a bill of $37.50 from Harrington Steel LLC.
which was not authorized by me by any means.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, like you can't force the benefit on someone, right? You can't say, come out and because I want an estimate from you, and then all of a sudden they do the work, and then you're bound to pay for that. So do you you have an email or any communication in writing between yourself and the person you asked?
I just verbal.
No text?
I don't have any email form or anything, so.
No text message or anything?
And our policy would be to have a W-9, a certificate of
Right.
insurance,
Yeah.
and a
Yes.
contract, or at least an email with a proposal.
Right.
What was the quote from JV Steel?
About 2,000 less,
It's $1,600.
about 17,
Well, whatever. That's close to $2,000
two,
or over.
Yeah,
a little over 2 grand.
And JV Steel were installed, painted and installed, correct?
Yes.
For the same linear square footage as the ones here.
So we haven't installed these yet. So
No, they're not installed.
my initial thought is one, if we could get you to write up a personal statement, just recounting what happened that day, your interactions with them. So there may not have been a written account in that moment, but if you can give us something that documents what happened, if you can tell us like, they had the conversation, roughly the time, and I know we're all moving 1,000 miles an hour. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell today is, right? But if you could document it for us in some way, it would give us something to go back to them and say, hang on, this is for an estimate.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you to complete this work. And I think we should take the initial position that we aren't paying for that.
correct.
Like, that was not authorized.
I totally
And so
agree.
we're not
No,
paying for it.
I totally agree. Especially a $2,000 difference. We wouldn't have taken that quote,
No.
for sure.
unless he wants to take a bite out of it.
I kind of like that's such bad business, honestly.
Yeah, I-
That even if we were to take a bite out of it, I would, like,
Yeah.
that is not,
Yeah, like $2,000 buddy.
And a company
you
that
gotta do
we've been
that.
working with that's given us a really good deal.
absolutely,
You know, to me, that's.
That actually followed the procedure,
right.
so.
I'm totally fine with having Tom do that and then let things fall in place after that
Okay.
and not, I'm totally fine with it. You good with
Yeah,
that?
even the gentleman that came in with him that has all the insurance and everything that covers up the whole thing. I just told him, I said, just send the estimate into the, I gave him the address, 511 Center Street.
Great.
I said, send it in there and we'll be fine.
And we never received an estimate.
Never received an estimate, and I just got a call the other day, and he says, well, we want to come in there and put them in. What?
I know, I read your email and I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And does
Yeah.
that invoice come through email or through snail mail?
So. Okay. If you can remember the name of the person that came up with the insurance, that'd be great. Whatever detail you can remember would be fabulous. That would just,
All right,
that's helpful.
I
Sorry.
can't remember the exact dates I asked him to come in, but,
That's okay.
Did he give us a week of?
yeah,
Should I do
it
that?
was a couple weeks, it was only 2 weeks ago.
We are not going to be.
You sent us an email that we were getting wasn't that an email that we were getting another estimate
Yeah,
from?
that you had another estimate
Got
coming.
an email from Jay, is his name Jay, right?
JV's.
Yeah, but you also, didn't you send an email to us or to Tara that you were getting another estimate from them?
I may have.
Because we asked, did that come through as an email?
Yes,
Yes.
but I think it's just an email from Tom to us. I don't.
Right, but then that's gonna give him that timeline of when,
Okay.
roughly when he got that estimate.
I'll check that tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll check that tomorrow.
I know you sent that as an email, that you were getting another estimate from that other company.
Right.
And I was just trying to help you with the timeline,
Yes.
Tom, and I know it'll be in that email.
helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
Thinking about that, yeah. Oh,
Okay,
I'll follow up with you on it tomorrow.
all right. I'll be there. Yeah, anything
I
else?
think that covers everything, Tara.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we need a dual motion for that proposal
All right.
Which proposal?
to accept the other bid.
No, let's see where we stand at first. I think with this one, I think Jeannie has a great point. Let's get the timeline, get a little bit more information back here and then, and then, we can make a decision on this on the 26th or whatever, right? which I may not be here then, I'm not positive.
I'll be seeing you on, next Wednesday, correct?
You'll be seeing me Wednesday. Yeah, I might be over Saturday for a little bit, we'll see sometime, you know, I pop in every now and then. I have been.
Good, you gotta talk to the folks, you know?
Yeah.
Ask them how the operation went and everything.
That's right. Thanks,
I
Don.
know more about this town than most folks, I believe. Seriously, I do. But it's nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to talk to the people and.
Okay,
Alrighty.
have a nice
Thank you.
night. Health officer discussion and possible action.
So you asked me to bring this back after looking into it, I looked into it. Remember, last year, or the year before, we had a similar situation where the health officer resigned and we looked at combining health. It is okay to do so, but I think the last time we decided not to because of the overlapping timelines of appointment. The state appoints a health officer, select board appoints the zoning administrator, so it's a little bit different. So I would encourage the board, if you want to make it the same person, that's totally feasible, but I think it would make more sense to keep it two different positions, even if it's the same person.
Yeah, I was reading that too, and I think that makes sense. I think it's fine to have it as the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
fine to
think
have it
have
as the same person, but keep it two separate jobs.
Yeah. That also allows you, if, or anyone else at any point, that if they need to resign from one, it doesn't mean we lose that person in both positions.
Right.
Hmm?
Right.
Oh, makes total sense, right?
And we decided it was too
We
much.
were trying not to go through this every 8 months, a year, or whatever it is.
The state sent us a form that said your select board chair is now your health officer with no name. I think they just assume we might continue to have problems.
I'm sure.
They sent us some Mad Libs.
This is my second or third time being a health officer, at least second, so. And I'm fine. I'm totally fine with keeping the position advertised as an open position.
We haven't advertised it. Do you want me to advertise it?
You guys make a choice. I'm totally fine staying in as the health officer right now. I have got a little bit of a plan going with the fire marshal's office with GJ. I have, honestly, I think the pay rate should be flip-flop between the two, because the health officer seems like right now it's more, it consumes more time, but it is what it is. And I'm totally comfortable with everything that's going on.
That's why. If you didn't have her, you wouldn't feel that way.
No, that's true. And you're absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Some of the
right. She's awesome at that job too, so.
The fact that we have a health officer right now that we can get in touch with, and know how to find, I think that's pretty awesome.
I agree.
And I had a phone call yesterday and I had to explain the whole renter, tenant, landlord situation and, you know, go from there, so. And I do field the phone calls.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to call people back, but I do field them. You know, I haven't fielded any emails, but I might not even be on that. I don't know if I'm still on that. I thought we might have deleted that from my account. I don't remember. We should look into that and see if, yeah, I thought we deleted that last time, but I have not received emails, I have received phone calls. So, and I do field them and call people back. Sometimes it's a day or two.
Yeah. Well,
What how do you want to proceed? Do you want to advertise that? You want to just,
I'll leave it
And I
open on the
don't care.
website.
I really don't, it doesn't matter to me. I'm fine doing,
Honestly, I'm fine leaving Mike in it and just appointing him to it full time, not just a select board member. Or as chair, I mean, if Mike's willing to do it, he's already doing the job, knows what he's doing.
I don't know about that, but.
Do you feel like
Wow.
it's gonna be underwater when school starts back again? I'm just thinking about your schedule. We can also you can make that determination at that time. but-
I think if the transfer station stuff was still going on, then yes. But I think we should be over that hurdle by the end of August. I really feel that we should have that under control. But there's always something else that's gonna pop up, right?
Okay,
But I just feel that once we get this transfer station stuff under control, I think we'll be fine, or I'll be fine. I really do, and I think we're not. It seems like we're a ways away from the transfer station thing, but I really don't think, I think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel here with that, you know? And I think it's gonna take some tweaking, and I think it's gonna take, you know, some fine tuning, but I think we can do it without a lot of hassle.
Okay,
I really believe that.
I agree with Brian, just a point.
That's fine. However, I'm good with either way.
I mean, you might as well just do it straight through instead of taking a 2-month break, then getting thrown back into it.
I guess, right? You know?
So do we make a motion to appoint Mike as the full-time health officer? So I'll make that motion to appoint.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to have a second. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mike's cursing us right now.
No, not at all. No, but you know me better than that, Brian. If I didn't want it, I would tell you.
No, I know.
That's
That's why I said, if you're willing to do it,
Yep.
might as well stay doing it.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
I'll get you a job description to sign off on.
Yay.
I
And
know,
now you can get something from the state with his name on it.
I got my little tag. I used it the other day, actually. It's in my truck. I can flip it. Zoning administrator, health officer. It's a flip side, so
You
I'm
can get a
good.
3-sided one, chair.
Yeah. So I'm good with it. Okay, employee evaluation review, schedule and discussion.
So this is just really simple. We discussed doing it on the 24th, but I couldn't remember, did we know the 24th was a Tuesday? I think we meant to do it before the regular meeting, but I cannot remember.
Yeah, we did.
So that would be the 26th. And
The
the
meeting's
other,
the 26th, right?
Meeting
yes,
is the 26th.
the other question I have is, many of our employees, really want to do it during the day. I said I would ask.
I can do it during the day on the 24th. That's not a problem for me. It's a Tuesday.
I can do it during the day if it's not too early in the morning.
Okay,
I could do it.
say like afternoon.
Could we start it earlier, 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, I was thinking I could start at 10.
Perfect. That would give. Maybe get Carl?
I'm sure we can get
Yeah,
Carl.
during the day is pretty much impossible for me.
Right, I know, and I get it, Brian,
Yeah.
I totally, you know,
It's a little bit different when I was still a supervisor instead of in the quality department. I had more flexibility.
Do you feel comfortable with the board meeting with department heads out there?
I'm fine with it as long as it's a majority of the board. I wouldn't feel as comfortable if it was only like just Jamie or Jeannie or just Mike.
No, I'll get at least 3 board members so we can have a meeting.
we'll have a quorum.
Okay, yeah, then I'm fine with it.
And I'll scan in their evaluation forms and send them to the whole board
Maybe
under,
there the 24th, we don't know.
I've got to check yet.
Okay,
okay.
Other things.
as long as we can have a quorum on the 24th, I think we should go ahead with that at 10, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and then the rest of them that I can't get in during the day, we'll put right before that regular meeting, if there's any left.
I know initially we said 5 o'clock that night.
Yeah,
That's what, because I put it in the calendar.
okay,
But that's fine, let's try for the 24th at 10 o'clock, and then if we can get a quorum.
okay.
And I would love to have you and Carl both, you know, I understand, Brian, that it's hard. I'd love to have you there too, but I get it. You gotta feed your family.
Yeah,
I get it. So. Okay, we're good with that? I'm trying.
We're doing good.
Purchasing policy, town attorney policy review and discussion.
Purchasing policy I sent you all, it was literally just that one sentence. I changed it from the executive assistant to the purchasing agent. That's the only change I made in the whole.
For our discussion,
Yeah.
make a motion to accept it as written with the change.
Second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Uh,
Town attorney policy review discussion.
Town attorney policy review discussion, that was one of the things that I wanted to bring in, that we talked through that last time and really talked through it. Although I will say that during our last conversation, Carl was like very invested in that conversation as well, and he's not here right now. So I would be fine if we roll that discussion to our next meeting, so that.
Well, great,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
great idea, I agree. And I had forgotten that he was that invested in, that's,
Yeah, I mean, I
no,
think
it's
we're having
fair.
a good conversation,
Yeah.
and the fact that Yes, I think he needs to be present.
Motion to table that one then.
We don't need a motion.
Okay.
You can just bring it back to meeting on the 26th.
Go ahead.
Special meeting scheduling discussion.
So this is something that we can do. Of course, I wasn't trying to say it was something we couldn't do. So we can use emails for scheduling. And you can reply all, and we go back and forth about scheduling specifically. I just had a concern with that because I don't know how to gauge who's more important than another. So if Jamie can make it Tuesday, but Jeannie can't make it Wednesday, I don't know how to gauge.
So here's
What about the
here's
middle?
yeah, if I can explain where this came from, because I brought it up. And there may be a much easier answer to this, and that I haven't figured it out yet. We have special meetings, and maybe it is the case that we just know as a matter of course, we're gonna have special meetings before, just like tonight, our normal board meetings. And I am totally, that works, that makes sense to me. But it seemed like sometimes that there are meetings that I felt like that any of us sort of got last minute notice, and I'm like, well, how did that meeting get decided when it was happening?
Mhm.
So rather than having Tara go back and forth with everybody in a conversation, I was wondering if you got advance notice, we know we need a special meeting. What if you did a doodle poll? And then the date where most of us could be present, hopefully there was a day when all of us could, you just went with that. Because that's the same thing as deciding, right, in some instance, if we have to decide a special meeting, or we're just gonna do it on that day, we don't know who's available then either. It's one day.
Right.
Well,
I do.
unless it's an emergency, I don't know
Which is
why
completely
we wouldn't
Right.
have
I do.
prior notice.
Right, I mean, special meetings are usually something that pops up that's unexpected,
Right.
otherwise we schedule them right here.
Exactly.
But so I can do the poll, but it might add another day. And some board members don't check their email every day either, that's also another. So that might.
I checked mine, I don't know how many times today, okay, thank you.
I wasn't.
I know, I'm just picking on
It's just
you.
saying.
No, no, I was
What
picking.
if they just land?
What if we did this? So generally a special meeting is for a specific topic.
Mhm.
Right? So what if we tried to schedule our special meetings on a Thursday night before a regular meeting?
Yes.
Like we did tonight.
That
And
makes.
then if we have a special meeting that has to happen in between weeks or on a different night, which is, we'll make it almost an emergency type of meeting, then we can reach out via email. We can reach out via text message or a phone call or whatever. So that there is, we definitely try to make contact with each one of us.
Yes.
So if we try to keep our specials, and I think it would be better for you two
Yeah,
as well, because you plan on being here on those regular meeting nights anyways, for the most part.
Yes.
Right? You guys have missed, I can count them all in one hand and have have space left over. I know, that's what I'm saying.
I was here right after my hysterectomy.
Yeah, so if we tried to have our specials on Thursdays of a regular meeting, because that's gonna be a specific topic,
Beautiful.
and then if it is sort of a special, we need to do some other way, then we can reach out to each person,
I can do a poll or a
Yes,
text,
that's great.
something like that.
That's
Okay.
great.
alright?
Good plan.
I think it's better for you two as well.
It is.
It's better for all of us.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Ooh, look at us flying now.
Thank you.
Office chair purchase discussion and possible action.
So I sent you all a picture of the chairs. As you are well aware, we're running out of chairs and they're like broken and wonky. And you want to replace all the chairs at the table and give one to Hannah. They're a little more comfortable and much nicer looking.
A little more cushion in the butt.
Little more cushion in the butt. They're about $200 a piece. I'll put them together when they get here.
How much? How many chairs?
9, I think, is what I wanted to do. So,
And in our office budget.
yeah. It's either in the office or the equipment budget.
Do they rock? Because I like the fact that these are.
I
It's
feel
fine.
like they do. I feel like they do.
He just wants to get that.
Can you get one footstool attached?
Yeah, like a little Bible.
Like a cup holder.
Yeah, cup holder.
Yeah, massage.
How about
Yeah.
heating, cooling?
Yes, there you go.
Let's get some lazy boys in here.
Rocks. That's great.
I'll entertain a motion to purchase the chairs.
I will move to purchase these chairs.
Second it.
Any more discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oak Hill Cemetery discussion.
So what is
Oh,
that?
there's so much. So I have been running Oak Hill Cemetery. I am not qualified to run Oak Hill Cemetery. I am really struggling. I'm doing the best I can. I have digital maps, I have some hand-drawn maps. And then, of course, there's our land records, the deeds, and those things. So when we had it mapped, the digital maps, there's some mistakes on them, but also there's some mistakes on the hand-drawn ones. I haven't been able to sell any because some are already double sold that I'm finding when people come in and say, oh, I just want to confirm I have these 4, and I look at it and I say, ooh, I'm down there in tears more often than I want to be. So I'm just asking for some select board support on cemeteries. Last year, the last board, it was gonna be Carl and Angie. I don't even know who my
Well, I think
expertise.
it's our point person for cemeteries again.
For cemeteries. So I can ask them to help me a little more, but I think Carl and Angie had decided with me to wait on the tree removal, and I don't think we can. We were gonna wait to see where our property line was after we had the survey completed, but the trees are just overgrowing. They're growing onto graves, they're growing. The front bank of Oak Hill is like really steep and the trees just lay on the ground. Tristan cannot mow under them. It's like really ridiculous. So I was just looking for the board's blessing to get estimates,
Wow.
That sounds good.
from at least 3 tree companies and then,
I'm concerned about double selling plots.
yeah, so that's why the town has not sold any. We are just working with what we have, which is very upsetting to a lot of people because they want to be buried with.
The double sold plots is not anything new. We encountered that when we buried my grandfather 20 years ago. We went to go bury him and open the plot and there was already somebody in it.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Well, at that time, that current board basically gave us a different plot, like 5 rows down and like 200 feet over.
Which is why I cry.
But at least at that time, there was still open spots.
Yeah,
You want to be buried with your family though.
Yeah.
You buy plots together
right,
for a reason, which is
exactly.
it's incredibly upsetting for me.
No,
Like, work with people. So I've been working with the funeral homes. I've been working with Alan Madison. He does a lot of the digging down there. Everyone is aware of the issues. It's just, I kind of wanted to publicly state that it is still an issue and we are still trying to address it. Hopefully we'll have a few good candidates for our cemetery commission in March, which will really help because then we'll have a board that sort of, I can work with them and say, here it all is.
so let's expand on that just a little tiny bit. With the cemetery commission, I think we pushed that a little bit. We pushed it a little bit before March so that we can educate people. We talk about it. Maybe we have a special meeting to talk about what that would entail being on the cemetery commission in December.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that people will know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right, or what they're signing up for versus, or, potentially, being on that cemetery commission. And I think there's a lot of people in this town who would want to be involved in that. I can think 3 or 4 off the top of my head that want to be involved in Pownal history and whatever, and that's part of it. And they would be quality people.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's bring that in November, December, push it a little bit. Like I said, even if we have a special before a regular.
Sounds good.
Okay. Does that help you?
That sounds good.
In the
And can I
meantime,
collect estimates for trees?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Absolutely.
And I'll ask Carl to help me with some of the research and the mapping stuff.
Yep.
so what you,
Carl's good at that.
just verify?
Good at it. We've just kind of gotten so distracted by other things that it's just, I gotta circle back to it and
Yep.
make sure we're really addressing the
Lean on him a
stuff.
little bit. I'm sure he can.
You're still working on verifying that the maps are accurate, is what you're,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and then, so the funeral homes call me when they have someone to bury. I have to go down and mark the spot. I measure it out and make crazy unstraight lines. I do, like I said, do the best I can. Not.
That's all you can ask.
But
2 strings.
Anybody ask for more than that, that's their problem.
That is sad, that part of the job.
I know.
It is.
Right.
It is for
Should
now.
not be.
It is for now because the board is the cemetery commission currently.
Yes.
And we couldn't, I tried to see if we could like give that responsibility to another board. No, that's why I went with the direction of the cemetery commission. It's because it's too much for the select board to do.
Okay, you good with that? Executive session for contractual. I'll entertain a motion to enter into that.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.